Today's idiom is she doted on me. This expression means that someone showed extreme fondness and affection towards you, often to an extent that might seem excessive or indulgent. Think of a grandparent who showers their grandchild with unwavering love and never says no. The word dote traces its roots back to Middle English around the 14th century. Initially, it meant to be foolish or to lose one's wits. Over time, this evolved to imply a kind of foolish fondness, where the intensity of affection makes one seemingly oblivious to faults, much like a loving parent. Let's explore how she doted on me works in context. Our first example is, my grandmother always doted on me, letting me have extra cookies even before dinner. Here, the grandmother's deep affection is shown through her indulgence, bending rules for her grandchild. It's a warm, loving kind of favoritism. Now consider our second example. He doted on his new puppy, buying it every toy imaginable and showering it with attention. This illustrates how the idiom isn't just for people. You can dote on pets or even objects you adore. In both cases, doted on conveys an intense, almost overwhelming, positive feeling and devoted care. Notice the consistent theme of lavishing affection.
When looking for similar expressions, she adored me is a good fit. Adore also signifies deep love and admiration, but it might lack the specific nuance of excessive or indulgent affection that dote carries. She was infatuated with me is another option, though infatuated often suggests a strong, short-lived, or even irrational passion, potentially with a more romantic or obsessive connotation. While dote implies a consistent, often parent-like or grandparent-like love, infatuation can be more fleeting or intense in a different way. Choose adored for strong love and infatuated for intense, possibly temporary passion.
To recap, she doted on me beautifully captures the essence of someone showering you with extreme, often indulgent, affection and love. Remember its roots from the idea of foolish fondness, perfectly describing how love can make us see only the best in someone. So, the next time you witness someone being extremely loving, and maybe a little over the top with their care, you can say they dote on that person. It's a sweet way to describe a very special bond. Keep practicing your idioms, and you'll speak English like a native. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is I made it from scratch. It means you created something entirely from the very beginning, using only basic materials or your own efforts, without pre-made parts. The phrase originated from contexts like racing, where scratch was the starting line, or in cooking, referring to raw ingredients. It emphasizes the complete initial effort. Let's see I made it from scratch in action. For example, this delicious cake? Oh, I made it from scratch, including grinding my own flour. This highlights starting with raw ingredients. Another example, building this complex software took years because we decided to make it from scratch instead of using existing libraries. This means creating code from absolute zero.
Similar expressions can help convey this idea. From the ground up is very close, implying building a system starting from its absolute foundations. To build from nothing is another direct alternative, emphasizing the lack of initial resources. While similar, from scratch specifically evokes the raw material or starting point, making it versatile across creative processes.
So, when you say, I made it from scratch, you're celebrating the complete journey of creation from square one. Whether it's a gourmet meal or a groundbreaking invention, this idiom perfectly captures the pride and effort of bringing something into existence entirely by your own hand. Remember, it's about genuine initial effort and resourcefulness. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is don't steal my thunder. This phrase means to take credit for someone else's achievement or to draw attention away from them when they deserve it. Imagine someone sharing your exciting news before you get a chance to, or presenting your idea as their own. The origin harks back to the 18th century England and a playwright named John Dennis. He invented a unique method for simulating thunder for his play, only to have it copied and used in rival productions after his play flopped. He famously exclaimed, "They will not let my play run, but they steal my thunder." Let's look at how we use this idiom in practice. Our first example is, I spent weeks preparing this presentation, so please don't steal my thunder by announcing the results before I do. Here, the speaker is asking someone not to preempt their moment of recognition after significant effort. It's about preserving the well-deserved spotlight. Our second example illustrates a similar situation. She was so excited to share her promotion news, but her colleague immediately changed the subject, totally stealing her thunder. In this case, the colleague subtly diverted attention, effectively diminishing the importance of her happy announcement. Both scenarios highlight the frustration of having one's moment or achievement overshadowed.
Let's explore similar expressions. Upstage, someone means to intentionally draw attention away from another, making them seem less important. This term originates from theater. Take the wind out of someone's sails means to diminish their enthusiasm or advantage, often by undermining their efforts. While steal my thunder directly means taking credit or a moment of glory, upstage focuses on diverting attention, and take the wind out of their sails is about deflating momentum, not just seizing the spotlight.
To recap, don't steal my thunder is a vivid way to express the desire to receive due credit or attention for one's own achievements or news. Rooted in an 18th century theatrical anecdote, it perfectly captures the annoyance of having one's moment usurped. Remember, it's about protecting your deserved spotlight, whether it's sharing big news or presenting a project you worked hard on. So, next time someone tries to hog the limelight from you, you'll know exactly how to voice your feelings with this expressive idiom. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is, such is life. This phrase is used to express a resigned acceptance that unfortunate or challenging events are an inevitable part of human experience. It's often uttered when something unwelcome or unexpected happens, and there's nothing left to do but acknowledge that life sometimes simply unfolds in difficult ways. Its origin lies in general philosophical usage within English literature from the 18th and 19th centuries, reflecting a long-standing human tendency to accept the unchangeable aspects of existence with a shrug. Let's look at how such is life is used in everyday conversation. Imagine this scenario. My flight was delayed for 6 hours, so I missed my connecting train. Oh well, such is life. Here, the speaker acknowledges a frustrating situation, but expresses acceptance, moving on from the disappointment. In another context, you might hear, we worked so hard on that project, but it still didn't get approved. Such is life, I guess. This example shows the idiom being used when efforts don't yield the desired outcome, again highlighting a sense of resignation that some things are beyond our control. Both scenarios perfectly capture the essence of accepting life's unpredictable nature.
Similar phrases offer slightly different nuances. A common one is c'est la vie, which is French for such is life, and is often used interchangeably in English, carrying a similar air of resigned acceptance, perhaps with a touch more dramatic flair. Another useful alternative is, that's the way the cookie crumbles. This phrase conveys a similar meaning of accepting an unfortunate outcome, but it often implies a more casual, almost fatalistic perspective on events. While such is life is quite direct, cookie crumbles adds a bit more imagery and a slightly less formal tone. Choose such is life for a direct, simple acknowledgement.
To sum up, such is life is a succinct way to acknowledge and accept the unpredictable, often challenging aspects of human existence. It's a phrase rooted in centuries of human experience, reflecting a universal understanding that not everything goes our way. Remember this idiom when you encounter an unavoidable setback and need to articulate that resigned acceptance. It's a powerful yet simple expression to convey that some things are simply beyond our control and part of the journey. Keep practicing and you'll master its subtle power. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is, he clammed up. This phrase describes someone who suddenly stops talking and refuses to speak, often because they are shy, afraid, or simply don't want to share information. Think of a clam, a mollusk with a hard shell. When disturbed, a clam snaps shut, becoming completely unresponsive and uncommunicative. This visual metaphor, drawn from nature, perfectly illustrates the idiom's meaning, a person sealing themselves off and becoming silent. It's a very descriptive and widely understood expression, dating back to early 20th century American English. Let's look at how we use he clammed up in context. First, consider this scenario. When the police questioned him about the incident, he immediately clammed up and wouldn't say a word. Here, clammed up suggests a deliberate refusal to speak, perhaps to avoid incriminating himself or sharing sensitive information. He chose to remain silent, much like a clam closing its shell tightly. Our second example illustrates a different nuance. She's usually so talkative, but during the interview, she totally clammed up and struggled to answer any questions. In this case, clammed up likely implies shyness, nervousness, or stage fright. She became unable to articulate her thoughts, freezing up under pressure. Both examples show a sudden cessation of speech, but with varying underlying reasons.
There are a few similar expressions to clam up, but with subtle differences. To become tight-lipped means someone is deliberately not revealing information, often implying secrecy or discretion. While clam up can also mean this, It more strongly suggests an involuntary inability to speak due to nervousness or shock, or a sudden refusal. To go silent is a broader term, meaning simply to stop speaking, without necessarily implying resistance or difficulty. Clam up specifically captures that sudden, almost rigid refusal or inability to communicate, just like a clam shutting itself off from the world.
In summary, he clammed up is a vivid idiom that describes someone who suddenly becomes silent and refuses to speak. Its origin from the image of a clam tightly closing its shell perfectly illustrates this abrupt cessation of communication. Whether due to shyness, fear, or a deliberate choice not to share, this phrase effectively conveys the act of sealing oneself off from conversation. Keep an eye out for this expression in daily conversations and media. It's a great way to describe a very human reaction of withdrawing from interaction. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is I would go on a spending spree. This means to spend a large amount of money, often impulsively or extravagantly, over a short period. Imagine winning the lottery. Many would say they'd go on a spending spree. The term spree originated from Scottish and Irish slang in the late 19th century, meaning a lively, uninhibited burst of activity. When combined with spending, it aptly describes this specific financial indulgence, capturing that feeling of unrestrained buying and enjoyment. Let's see how we can use this idiom in different situations. Our first example is, if I ever win the lottery, I would definitely go on a spending spree and buy everything I've ever wanted. Here, the speaker expresses a hypothetical desire to spend lavishly and without restraint if a large sum of money became available. It highlights the impulsive, dreamlike quality of a spending spree. For our second example, after getting her bonus, she decided to go on a spending spree, picking up new clothes, gadgets, and gifts for her family. This shows a more realistic scenario where someone, after receiving extra funds, chooses to indulge in a period of extensive purchasing for themselves and others. Both examples perfectly illustrate the meaning of spending a lot in a short, uninhibited burst.
While I would go on a spending spree implies a period of extensive, often impulsive buying, let's look at similar expressions. Shop till you drop suggests an exhaustive shopping session, usually for pleasure, continuing until physical exhaustion. Retail therapy focuses on shopping as a way to improve mood or alleviate stress. A spending spree implies a significant, sometimes uninhibited or even slightly irresponsible burst of purchases, distinct from shopping to get tired or purely for mood improvement.
To wrap up, I would go on a spending spree describes a period of enthusiastic and often unrestrained spending. It vividly paints a picture of someone opening their wallet wide and buying many things in a short amount of time, perhaps after a windfall or simply indulging. Remember its roots in spree meaning a lively burst of activity, which adds to its sense of fun and excitement, though often with a hint of extravagance. So, if you're dreaming of lavish purchases, this is the perfect idiom to express it. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is, he lives in a bubble. This means someone is isolated from reality, often unaware of common problems. Its metaphorical origin from the 20th century describes a self-contained, insulated existence, suggesting detachment from external realities. Let's look at examples. Despite the economic downturn, John continues to spend lavishly. He truly lives in a bubble. John's spending shows clear disconnection from financial struggles, oblivious to broader economic realities. Our second example, our new CEO seems to live in a bubble, making decisions without understanding the ground-level challenges. This highlights a leader lacking awareness of employees' daily experiences. Both show isolation and unawareness of common realities.
Similar phrases are to be out of touch and to live in an ivory tower. Out of touch means lacking current knowledge. Ivory tower implies academic or intellectual isolation. He lives in a bubble emphasizes a protected, unaware state about everyday struggles, often due to privilege.
In summary, he lives in a bubble means someone isolated from reality, unaware of common struggles. Metaphorically, it depicts a self-contained existence. Use this idiom for individuals disconnected from the world due to privilege or circumstance, highlighting their lack of awareness of everyday difficulties. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is, I don't want to open up a can of worms. This expression means you want to avoid starting a complicated or unpleasant situation that could lead to many more interconnected problems. Imagine the literal mess and hassle of dealing with a container full of wriggling worms. It's exactly that kind of unwelcome trouble you wish to prevent. The idiom emerged from the common experience of anglers in early 20th century America. Handling a can of live bait worms was often a chaotic and messy affair, so it became a perfect metaphor for inadvertently unleashing a cascade of difficulties. Let's look at how this idiom is used in conversation. For our first example, I'd rather not mention that old dispute at the meeting. I don't want to open up a can of worms. Here, the speaker is clearly trying to prevent a past disagreement from resurfacing and causing new conflicts or extended discussions that would derail the current meeting. They want to avoid the messy fallout. Our second example is, bringing up the budget deficit now would really open up a can of worms. In this case, discussing the budget deficit is seen as something that would immediately lead to numerous related financial, political, or operational problems, all tangled together, making the situation much more difficult to manage.
Two similar expressions are let sleeping dogs lie and stir up a hornet's nest. Let sleeping dogs lie is very close in meaning, suggesting it's best to leave a problem undisturbed to avoid making it worse. It implies a sense of caution to not provoke dormant issues. Stir up a hornet's nest also means to cause trouble, but it often implies a more active, perhaps even deliberate, act of provoking a swift and angry reaction from a group rather than just revealing a complex problem. Opening a can of worms is unique in its emphasis on the multiple, interconnected, and often unexpected problems that arise.
To recap, I don't want to open up a can of worms is a vivid idiom for avoiding a situation that will undoubtedly lead to many complex and unpleasant problems. Originating from the messy reality of handling live bait, it perfectly captures the desire to steer clear of unnecessary trouble. Next time you feel a discussion or action might unleash a cascade of complications, you can confidently say, I don't want to open up a can of worms. Keep practicing, and you'll master this expressive idiom in no time. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is, it's my treat. This phrase means I will pay for something, often food or entertainment for you or the group. It's a kind way to show generosity. From 19th century social customs, treat evolved from pleasure to covering the expense for others, emphasizing thoughtful provision. Let's see it in action. First, after dinner, John declared, You've had a long week, so it's my treat tonight. John pays for dinner. Second, don't worry about the movie tickets. It's my treat. Just pick the showtime. The speaker covers movie costs. Both show generous payment for shared activities.
Similar expressions include, I'll get this, and it's on me. I'll get this is direct, used at payment. It's on me is flexible for any cost. It's my treat often feels warmer, more celebratory, emphasizing a special occasion or thoughtful gesture beyond paying. Choose it for extra generosity.
In summary, it's my treat means you're kindly paying for an activity or meal for others, rooted in providing shared pleasure. It's more than money. It's about fostering goodwill and creating enjoyable moments. So, next time you want to show generosity and make an occasion special, confidently say, it's my treat. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is snap out of it. It means to suddenly and quickly stop being in a negative emotional state or a state of unrealistic thinking. The phrase likely evolved in the 19th to 20th century American English, drawing on the literal idea of snapping a movement to quickly get out of something before becoming a common command to shake off a mood. Consider our first example. Come on, you've been moping all day. Snap out of it and let's go for a walk. Here, snap out of it is a direct command to someone to stop feeling down and become more active. Now for our second example, she was lost in thought, but a sudden loud noise made her snap out of it. This illustrates how an external event can cause someone to quickly return to reality from a deep thought or trance. Both show a sudden change in state.
Two similar expressions are, pull yourself together and get a grip. While snap out of it emphasizes a sudden, immediate change from a specific negative mood or state, pull yourself together implies regaining control and composure after being upset. Get a grip is quite similar to pull yourself together, urging someone to become rational or calm.
In summary, snap out of it is a forceful idiom to tell someone to quickly emerge from a negative mental state or a period of distraction. Rooted in the idea of quick movement, it's a direct way to encourage someone to face reality. Next time you see someone stuck in a funk, you know what to say. I'll see you next time with another great expression.